In this video we are going to just look at the questions that I assigned you to do on slope. So most people are getting on quite well, just a few mistakes that I was seeing throughout. I'm going to go through question 9, 10 and 11. The first question here says the slope of line L is 3/4. And then it asks you to write down the slope of a line that is parallel to L. So one thing that we know about parallel lines is that they have equal slopes. So if you can imagine two parallel lines, like so, they're not very parallel, but two parallel lines like so, if you think about the steepness of both of those lines, the steepness is probably near the exact same. So we know that parallel lines have equal slopes. So if we want to write down the slope of a line parallel to L, it's just going to be the exact same. So 3/4. Perpendicular lines are a little bit more tricky. So as you can imagine, perpendicular lines are two lines that make right angles to each other. Okay. Now, the thing that we know about perpendicular lines is that their slopes are opposites. So the way that we find the slope of a perpendicular line to L is we take the fraction, we flip the fraction, and we change the sign. So because this is a positive 3/4, it changes to a negative 3/4. And the reason for that is, if you think about the slope, the line L here, and a perpendicular line to that, this line is the slope of this line is a positive slope, and it's 3/4, and this is a negative slope. So it would be minus, and the slope is flipped, so it's 4/3. Okay, looking at question 10, this question just requires you to change the slope, to find the slope of lines perpendicular to all of these lines. Okay, so if a line has a slope of 2/3, the line perpendicular to this line would give you a slope of minus 3/2. So we flip the fraction and we change the sign. The same with this one. We flip the fraction, and because it is a positive, we change it to a negative. In this one, it's the slope of the original line is minus 3/4. So we still flip the fraction and we change the sign. So it's a plus 3/4. Now you don't have to write the plus sign. If there's no sign, we just assume that it's plus. And then the last one there is similar. It's a minus 2/5. So we flip the fraction and change the sign. So it's a minus, so it becomes a plus. Okay. In question 11 here, it gives us the points A, B, C and D. And the first part of the question asks us to find the slope. Okay, so to do that, we use our slope formula. I know to use the slope formula because they've given us points to find the slope. Because they haven't given us the line itself or a graph, we can't use rise over run. So we start by labelling our points x1, y1, x2, y2, and then we sub those values into the slope formula, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, when we sub our numbers in, as you can see, y2 is equal to 3 and y1 is equal to 1, x2 is equal to 1 and x1 is equal to minus 1. So remember, if it's a minus number, that we put it into a bracket. At this point now, we can actually just put that straight into our calculator, and our answer will be 2/2, which is equal to 1. Okay, so the slope of the line AB is equal to 1. So here, we're going to repeat the same steps. So we're using our slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We don't need to learn this. This will be given to us in our exam, in the tables and formulas book. We're going to label the next, so it's looking for the slope of CD, so we label the point CD, x1, y1, x2, y2. And then we're going to sub in the values. So y2 is equal to 4, y1 is equal to 2, x2 is equal to 4, and x1 is equal to 6. So as you can see here, this will give us a slope of 2 over minus 2, which gives us a slope of minus 1. Now, as you can see, the last part of the question asks us to prove that lines are perpendicular. So in order to find a line perpendicular to this one, if you imagine that fraction, 1 written as a fraction is just 1 over 1. So we can write any whole number as a fraction by simply putting it over 1. So if we know that this is the slope of one of the lines, we know that the slope of the line that is perpendicular is this, so we flip it, so it's still going to be 1 over 1, but it's just going to change the sign. So minus 1 over 1, which of course we know is 1. So we can show that the slope of this line is equal to this line flipped with the change of sign. Okay? Another way of proving this is to show that when you multiply the two slopes together, so 1 multiplied by minus 1, that will give you minus 1. So that's another way of proving that two lines are perpendicular. That if their slopes, when multiplied together, gives you an answer of minus 1, that shows you that they're perpendicular. So just to revisit question 10, I'm going to prove that the lines are perpendicular using this method here. So if the slope of m1, so the first line, multiplied by the slope of m2 is equal to minus 1, then the lines are perpendicular. And this is the symbol for perpendicular here. Okay, so if you look at the 2 over 3 and we multiply it by the slope of the line perpendicular to that, if we put that into our calculator, our answer should be minus 1.